Hey everybody, cheers. So, my first little video here, we are going over some Red Fang. Number 13 off of Murder the Mountains. Now, I really do like Red Fang. They are an epitome of a hard rock stoner band. Something that you hit the bong and just fucking eat. So, my thoughts on this song in particular are, it is heavy, but it is also not so heavy. But it's heavy in the sense where like you just took a massive barn rip and you want that, but at the same time you're just not all the way like, you know, Lamb of God all the way, like, you just kind of want to. And Red Fang kind of, to me, meets that, like, Clutch is a little too southern rock, too vocal, where, you know, Red Fang, you got that sludgy stoner lyric feel to it. But it's kind of like a mix between Clutch meets Mastodon, so to speak. And it's just fucking good. Just hit a bong, listen to some fucking Red Fang, and woo. Now, Red Fang is an acquired taste. I will admit that. Can't just be like, alright, I'm gonna go out and buy some Red Fang albums and yada yada yada. You need to know where to start, so to speak, as far as your taste of music, what your preference is. You prefer the heavy side of it, I would start with, you know, their self-titled album, or Murder the Mountains, or Whales and Leeches. But if you weren't, then I would start with Only Ghost, or whatever that album is, and then go from there, because they don't really have a whole discog, so to speak. I mean, they have a handful of albums, but definitely Whales and Leeches is my favorite, for sure. Only Ghost is really good. It's probably one of their better ones, but Whales and Leeches, my personal favorite. As far as Red Fang goes, Red Fang is a good band. I would totally smoke a doobie with all of them after one of their shows, that is for sure. And yeah, so why don't we switch it up real quick. So I had Red Fang, Murder the Mountains on. Why don't I take that one off and we'll put a different one on, just to spice it up a little bit, just to see how this first, because this is my inaugural test run, so to speak, and how this type of thing, I'm new to this, I don't know how fucking, you know, channels go. Alright, why don't I throw a good curveball in there, something that not a lot of people are familiar with, but some people are. One of my favorite bands, Ruby The Hatchet. This is the Aurobos album. Oh, it's not on there. Whoops. But, yeah, there it is. Aurobos album. So, Ruby The Hatchet is led by a female vocalist by the name of Jillian Taylor. She has an amazing voice, and she's also not hard to look at. So I'm going to start on side 2 with a song called Good Goddamn, which is one of their. This is their first album, and this is probably my favorite song on this album. It is very raw, so to speak, with the vocals and just the emotion that goes into it, and just kind of get you pumped up. Hanging out with some friends, and just get you pumped up. Drink one of those keisterns. Yeah. All right, good goddamn. Here we go. Always let me know what you think in the comments below, please. So, Ruby the Hatchet. If that was your first time delving into Ruby the Hatchet, rock on, because Ruby the Hatchet is the shit. I have all their albums, and all of them are fantastic beginning to end. I guarantee it. If you've never heard them, just pick one, buy one. If you were to ask me, I'd say start with Planetary Space Child. That's my favorite out of all three of them. But this one, Robos, is pretty good. That's their first one. And then, let's see here. We'll do these. And this is the second one, Valley of the Snake. It's got songs like Heavy Blanket and Vast Acid, Tomorrow Never Comes, and The Valley of the Snake. All phenomenal songs. Especially in regards to the psychedelic stoner rock genre music. But yeah, well, this was just a quick little dip my toes in the water video, so to speak, to see what kind of feedback I could get, what I need to do better, or how I need to commentate it, what songs, or how I should do my songs, I should say. Do I need to be like, hey, this is it, let's listen to this, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Just an inaugural, let's get things started, and kind of set a premise for how things will go. Of course, you know, as time goes, it'll be a little more organized, a little more well put together, and hopefully I can have gloves for my vinyl by the time I start doing it a little bit more, because nobody wants to touch their vinyl with greasy hands, you know what I mean? But as I leave you guys, this is what I'm going to leave you with. This is Baroness's Purple album. One of my personal favorites. If you're not familiar with Baroness, they're a little more on the grungy, hard rock side of indie stoner rock music, if that makes any sense. And the lead guitarist of the band, he does the art for the albums, and all their albums are color coordinated: red, blue, purple, green, yellow, so on and so forth. Golden Gray was their latest, also really good. But also Baroness, and that being said, is an acquired taste. You may, let's say you're just an all-out like fucking Foo Fighters fan or something weird like that. Probably not gonna dive headfirst into Baroness, but with points in the right direction, I wouldn't point a newbie to this album. If you are new to the Baroness scene, I'd point you probably to the Green and Yellow album. Green and Yellow is really good. That is probably the album that really turned me on to Baroness, just because it's got so much emotion into it. It just grabs you by your heart and soul and pulls you in. And by the end of it, you're like, that was amazing. That was awesome. I'm going to listen to that for a while now. And just the artwork for all the Baroness albums is just unique and fantastic and spectacular in and of itself. Purple so far is my favorite, just because there's a lot going on. But also the music on this album is fantastic. Like I said, it's acquired taste. I mean, but you know, not everybody drinks the same cup of tea. So I'm definitely one of those people. Like, for example, a couple of records down, I got this Rings of Saturn right here. Not a lot of people are gonna want to sit here and listen to Rings of Saturn. I would have bet. Some people don't want to hear that. But that's the point of this channel. We're gonna go through, you know, random ass records such as Baroness to Rings of Saturn to shit like this right here. Jimmy Rogers. If you don't know who Jimmy Rogers is, Jimmy Rogers is an old acoustic guitar player in like the 30s and stuff, and Doc Watson and other people like that made his songs famous by covering them, and so on and so forth. And of course, one of Jimmy Rogers' songs, "In the Jailhouse Now," was made popular in the Coen Brothers' "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" But yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff will be very seldom. I'll mainly focus on, you know, stuff like Ruby the Hatchet and other, you know, random stoner, doom, rock, heavy metal bands. But this was just, let's get our feet wet, see how we do kind of video. Go over a couple of songs and get some feedback, see what people think, see where I need to critique on, what I need to talk about more, and if I need to do this not solo, if I need a co-host, somebody to go back and forth with about the dynamics and the writing style and the musicianship of each of these songs that I want to talk about, because I'd like to get more in depth and be like, hey, you know, at this particular part of this particular song, the guitarist or the bassist or whatever is doing this thing, how I really like it, then I like how this person corresponds with that kind of thing. Because, you know, most music listeners, they're just listening to music, but people with musical ears that play music or, you know, are in bands or whatever, they're listening to everything that's going on. And I listen to everything that's going on, because that's one thing that makes a whole song. But two, it could be that background noise or that extra little tap on the hi-hat or whatever, or that makes that song just, you know, like, oh, it grabs you by your soul and you're like, oh, that fucking rocks. Or, yeah, just that little tick, 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 you know, to people, that's fucking, that could be their, you know, pops their fucking rocket off, whatever. I don't fucking know, but, you know, I mean, for me, I listen to certain Mastodon riffs, and when fucking Bill Kelleher comes in with certain of those riff changes, I'm just like, yeah. And that's the kind of stuff I want to talk about here. This is, you know, those riffs that, you know, get implanted in people's just soul, and it just moves you to the point where that's all you can do is just flick. And that's, I mean, that's crazy how the power of music can just fucking up and move you like that. And music moves me, I know it moves you. So let's talk about how it moves us, and let's talk about it together. I'm Jonathan Walt, and this is my first video. I know it's kind of shitty, but we got a long way to go, so